What's happening?
What it do?
What's going on? Your boys are back. Did you miss us?
I know y'all did.
Apparently not, because there's nobody on stream, but I'm sure we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, I told Paul about it today, and immediately he just texted me back. And he was just like, too late.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out the right time, guys.
This
Life
is all
gets
my
in the way.
fault, though, this week, though, guys. I've been changing the schedule just because of work and life.
Yeah. Listen, Bobo's got to earn his paycheck. Now, listen, if you start giving us mad subscribers, now Bobo's always going to want to work because he wants to be a director. But like, let's say we start making our living off this podcast, it's easier for me to be like, "Yo, Bobo, can you you and I are both paying rent off this shit. Can you
Yeah.
you know?
If I'm making money off this channel, this is the only thing I'm doing is the channel,
like
you know?
exactly. And then it's easy for me to tell him, hey, my rent's on this too, Bobo. How about you not film that commercial? But at this point, I got zero leverage, guys.
Well, speaking of leverage, though, I had to leverage my situation over here. If you notice, my background's different than normal. I'm at my folks' house, house sitting, and I honestly was thinking about going back over to my house to do the stream.
Party time! Party at Bobo's.
Hey, back in my drinking days, I threw a ton of parties here.
Yeah.
And my parents were so mad at me, or my mom and my stepdad were. But you know what? I came back over. I was like, let me just move all this stuff early this morning. I got up at like 5 this morning. I was supposed to go on a commercial shoot. That got postponed till tomorrow because of weather. I was up. I was like, you know what? I'm moving all my equipment over here because I can do the stream tonight. Dude, because of traffic today, if I wouldn't have had this, we would have been screwed. So anyways.
Commercial? I thought you were shooting a porn.
Well, we're shooting the commercial to get some money for the feature, which is porn.
Okay, for the gay porn, right?
Oh,
Not there's anything wrong with that.
No, well, no. I mean, it's a full-on, just all over. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, listen, they've got all the genders in this porn, so it'll be good. It'll be good.
Eyes wide shut.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of sequels, should we get started with the first topic of the day?
We might as well.
Well, actually, we'll go out of order because the first thing we're going to talk about is the review we missed. But once we had that nice segue with the sequel, Family Ties trailer, the new trailer for Fast and Furious X-Lax hit theaters. I believe Bobo's friends. Yeah, what was the line he gave Bobo? That was
one of my buddy Clinto Darko. I'll give you a shout out. He said they had such a missed opportunity. They should have called this Fast 10 Your Seatbelts. Which, I mean, it's pretty funny, but I mean, they're never gonna call it that.
Yo, Vin Diesel has been in some movie with some X's in it, right? He's got more X's in the porn industry right now in his disposal.
Dude, he's got 7 X's right now.
Yeah,
because six tuple is 6. What's 7? Hex?
7 is 7.
Or 7 sextuple, right?
6 is sextuple. Septuple would be 7.
So hex is 5.
Mm-hmm.
No. Yes.
Yeah, hex is 5. Hexagon is 5 sides.
Yeah, you're right. But you know why I'm getting hex mixed up with pentagon? That's terrible. Not even the same like grading. That
would be hex times 2. That's hex. Well, not squared, I guess. But yeah, we suck at math on this podcast, guys. And one of us is an Indian. The other one has an excuse.
Yeah,
I don't.
I'm Scottish, Polish. All I did was drink for 40 years.
Yeah, I'd rather talk about math all day long than this stupid fucking trailer, but let's go ahead and get into it. I know you're excited about it.
Okay, look, but it's the type of excited where I am excited to go see a full-on popcorn movie. Like I'm not going to this expected to go tell my friends how awesome it was. I'm going to watch this so when I'm done, I can go to my friends and be like, did you see the new Fast and Furious? Because that's what it's become at this point. And I do have fun watching it. Now, the last one was really ridiculous, and this one looks like they're going to tone it down a little bit, hopefully. But even at the end, with the car pulling the 2 helicopters, how funny is that?
Nas, you fire Nas. First of all, how are you going to downgrade your stunts? The last movie, you went into space, right? You fired a rock. You had a rocket in the car that shot you into space. This time you're just pulling 2 helicopters after hitting Nas in the middle of the air. Like that's gonna do a goddamn thing. Listen, I'm not a science major, much to the chagrin of my parents, but I'm pretty sure Nas doesn't work like that. Where if you're in the middle of the air and you got 2 helicopters trying to haul your car in the middle of the air, you can't just hit Nas and drag them to the ground.
Yeah, it doesn't suddenly become a missile. You know, your car doesn't become a missile with Nas. It just has a little extra propulsion.
I'm pretty sure that car couldn't drag a helicopter on the ground if the helicopter wasn't running.
Well, hey, now, wait a minute. They already did pull a vault downtown Juarez, I think.
Oh, and the Chargers ties in this movie, right?
With their Dodge Chargers. Yeah, there is ties to that in this one. But, I mean, obviously I'm being facetious, but how funny is that? It's like, okay, these vaults weigh more than the building itself.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they had to make it into a heist movie. Let me tell you something, man. Listen, this channel, never doubt my love for you, because I will go watch this movie, but frankly speaking, I'd rather watch an enema. Okay? I'd rather watch a live enema on my screen. I'd fucking put it on a goddamn theater screen for all I care. I would have more fun watching that than I'm gonna watch this shit show. All right? This is stupid. No. This is the same movie over. How many times are we gonna have the bad guy in a movie all of a sudden turn the good guy by the time the next movie rolls around? How many times are we gonna do this?
It happens every movie. I mean, seriously, and it's been happening way before John Cena. It's happened almost the entire time because honestly, the first movie, Dom was kind of the bad guy.
Yeah, he was the bad guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There's no kind of about it. He's the one that was doing he's the one that was doing the hijacking. You know?
Yeah, but again, he sides over and it's all good. But again, the movie the continuity was all whacked to begin with. Like, not only till part 4 did they even start to think about creating continuity, because part 2 just was like, oh, this is a Paul Walker movie, no Vin Diesel. Part 3 had none of them until Vin Diesel pops in at the very end. Part 4 is where they actually started trying to create some sort of ongoing cohesive storyline.
I went and saw part 2 in the theaters.
Terrible movie.
Terrible. Yeah. I don't know.
That one, honestly, at least Tokyo Drift, it has like some sort of part 2 is just a John Singleton rap video. Sorry. God rest your soul, John Singleton.
Yeah, John Singleton was a G, but that movie sucked. And listen, here's the thing. There are some things I like about this movie. First of all, if you look at the comments of the trailers, people are really excited that he's not trying to save the world and just save his family. I don't care about either of those things, but fine. Maybe, it does something for you. They do go back to racing scenes.
Right.
Which kind of has me excited, but some part of me is like, oh, you've already done all this other crap. I'm supposed to give a damn about racing now all of a sudden again.
I will say this, though. From a directing standpoint and like cinematography standpoint, that shot pulling back through all the cars, like going in front of their faces, and it goes through like 4 cars. Like, I've seen how they do shots like that. They literally have to have an extension going all the way through there with the camera and pull it back smoothly. And I just thought that was badass. But, I bet you when that happens, how much you want to bet the most unrealistic thing in the world happens to win that race?
I mean, that's the dumbest bet of all time. Why would I make that bet? That's a sucker bet, Bobo. Well, yo, how do you like Brie Larson, doing the female empowerment thing with Captain Marvel? Now all of a sudden she's going to be Fast and Furious piece of ass. Because that's pretty much what the girls are in this series.
Well, look, they are, but they're also badasses too. Like, they are the piece of ass because they're hot and they kind of flaunt it. Like Corby said earlier on the ticket today when I was stuck in traffic, he's like, how much you want to bet she's in a tank top half the movie?
Yeah.
And of course, and then he also said, how much you would have bet that Jason, and I like how they refer to him on the ticket as Jason Momoa. Like, how much you want to bet Jason Momoa is going to be in a t-shirt that's 2 sizes too small for him? The whole
like he put on a little. Listen, I should be the last person saying this is Jason Momoa, right? But he looked like he put on a little weight.
So look,
he looked a little chunky.
I don't want to talk any trash about anybody because, hey, I do love you, Jason Momoa. I like your personality. I think you're cool, dude. Loved you in Slumberland especially. But I do think when those guys start taking some of those HGH hormones and everything, it starts to poof them up in their face a little bit, and not necessarily just like fat. Like, I think it starts kind of like making their jawline a little bigger and stuff. Things that aren't supposed to extend. Like, look at Stallone compared to the way his jawline was in Rocky 1 through 4. But
a lot of people think The Rock still does HGH, though. But then a lot of people say that's why his head is massive.
But he says he doesn't. But I mean, come on.
There's no way he's that old. And listen, I don't care. But Rock does a lot of great stuff for a lot of people. I think that gets lost because people get so hyper obsessed about tearing down celebrities that they just want to accuse The Rock of doing steroids. Probably does steroids. Still a good person. Still a much better person than I am.
Here's the deal. I don't care. You know what I mean? It's like remember when the whole Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa thing was going on?
Listen.
But
nobody cared until Barry Bonds. By the way, when Barry Bonds broke the home run record, because people don't like Barry Bonds, and some of it because of his skin color, but also honestly, Barry Bonds was kind of an asshole, so a lot of people didn't like him because of him. That's when people started caring about the steroid thing. But I thought it was hilarious because we just had, God, I can't remember the name of the pitcher. I think it was Thurman Munson. I
don't know.
No, Thurman Munson was a catcher. Anyway, we just had a pitcher who died. Who's
Herman
in
Munster?
the Hall of... Huh?
Herman Munster?
Thurman Munson.
I know.
We just had a pitcher died who was in the Hall of Fame for his spitball, which is basically putting illegal substances on the baseball, like Vaseline or whatever, and using that to dominate. And everybody knew he cheated. By the time he got in the Hall of Fame, everybody knew he cheated. They were just like, what a card, what a guy, using that cheating. Hey, it's baseball, but steroids, which weren't illegal in baseball, those guys are now banned from getting in. I think it's ridiculous. It's stupid.
Right.
We've gone way off topic. But
I mean,
from time to time.
But we were talking about Jason Momoa, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's juiced a little bit, because you can see pictures of him back in the day when he was on Baywatch, and I mean, he was in good shape, but he was nothing like the size he is now.
Yeah. So I just noticed that. And like I said, I should be the last person saying it to Jason Momoa. I don't care if Jason Momoa is 60 pounds heavier than he is. He's still pulling more than I ever will in my lifetime on a weekend, right? On random night. So, Jason, I ain't trying to throw shade at you. I just kind of noticed,
No, yeah. I mean, I agree. I thought kind of the same thing a little bit. And then Cena looks like better than he's ever looked.
Yeah. Except he loses his hair. If you saw him in his last wrestling appearance, it's very obvious that he's going bald up top.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, people go bald in their 40s.
Yeah.
I mean, he's definitely in his 40s, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's
okay. Is he?
He's like a couple years younger than we are.
Or older than us, huh?
He's a couple years younger than I am. He's probably right around your age group.
Okay, that makes sense.
But you're talking about a guy that got obsessed with working out when he was like a teenager and has been a hardcore workout guy for 30, 40 years.
There's a scene in Peacemaker where, and I know we're really getting off topic, and we'll get back on, but we are talking about John Cena, who is in Fast and Furious 10 or Fast 10, Fast X. But there's a scene in Peacemaker where he's like in his underwear, he's got these tidy whities on, and he just came from a bar, and he's got this like just trashy country girl, and she's in the bathroom, and he's about to get it on. He's like by himself, and dude, not only is he massive, but those veins, dude, it looks like they're becoming like a monster extending off of his body. The veins are popping out so crazy. It's like, whoa. I mean, it's cool looking, but it's weird looking too.
Yo, speaking of people looking good for their age, Charlize Theron is back.
Oh, dude, she's come on.
Aeon Flux is back.
I love her, dude.
Did you ever watch that movie, Aeon Flux?
I own it.
Oh, really? I never watched it. No, I watched the cartoon when it was on MTV.
I definitely watched the cartoon on Liquid Television back in the day.
Listen, we all know your opinions on cartoons. But
hey, by the way,
just
going to say something here. 3 episodes into Death Note.
And the verdict?
I dig it.
Really? What do you think about Light so far?
Who is Light?
Light's the main character.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I honestly, I've been watching it. I swear, I just didn't actually realize Light is the main character's name. No, he's cool. And obviously the dialogue is a little bit, kind of that. Are you
watching the dubbed?
I'm watching it where it has. Yeah, I'm hearing English people talk.
Yeah, that's why. Because here's a problem with the dub. One of the big problems with it is to get the lip syncing right. A lot of times they change the dialogue.
See, but that doesn't bother me too much as long as you think that the story is still conveying well, because I'm a guy that likes giallo with Italian horror, which those are notoriously badly dubbed, but it's part of the charm. I can much prefer a little bad dubbing over having to read the screen the whole time, because first off, this show does have a lot of cool art in it. And I will say this, the animation in this is definitely toned down from what I don't like about most anime, as far as it looks a little more real life.
There's a lot of anime that I could point you to that is the same. So we'll see if we continue this experiment. I want you to tell me what you think about the
I love
story.
them. I love. What's the name of the monster or the humans are so interesting.
Yeah. Why am I can't believe I can't think of his name right now. But yeah, he's the best part. But you're going to like there's gonna be some crazy
Piney? No, what is it? They call it something.
Well, it's Shinigami is the name
Shinigami,
of
that's
right.
it.
Right, but that Shinigami in particular has a name, and I can't believe I can't think of it. But
no, but look, I'm not just saying it to placate you. I am enjoying it, and I am going to continue watching it.
Have you met Elle yet? The detective.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I'm 3 episodes in.
The odd detective, the young detective.
Well, I've gotten into to where they're having a meeting where they're like, they can't just all be dying of heart attacks.
Yeah. Okay. So you haven't met Elle. Once you meet Elle, and the game of chess that's played between Light and Elle, that's when it gets really intense.
Well, okay. So we don't want to get too far off on that because it's off topic, but I am enjoying it. So you got to watch Peacemaker.
All right. Well, speaking of things we've watched, let's talk about Last of Us First Blood, episode 4, because Ellie gets her first kill. She pops her kill cherry.
Yeah.
Good on you, Ellie.
I was so expecting Joel to just be straight up, what are you doing? I told you not to. And he was just like, nah, he didn't say nothing. And not only does he not say anything, but I'll let you take it.
Oh, yeah, he shows her how to hold a gun.
Yeah, he gives her one.
Yeah, he gives her one. I mean, that's a little bit more. I always hate it when the character gets his life saved and then reprimands somebody. Like, at least this guy was smart enough to know, like, okay, I was about to die, so I guess I can't really say anything,
Yeah, and then when we find out when she says, it wasn't my first time, and then it's like, whoa, okay, and then it gets a little bit more, and just the amount of like compassion that just elevates for her. You've already had compassion for her, but for me as a viewer, it just like, oh, Ellie, I love you so much more now because I feel really bad for you. Yeah,
we had another scene pulled straight out of the games when she finds the Playgirl magazine.
Oh, hilarious! Which I'm actually trying to find that right now. I had it. But yeah, no, that was one of my favorite parts, and she's totally. This is going to be in bad form of me because I don't like to put things up that aren't cropped right. But yeah, this right here, yeah, classic her face right there. I want to see what the fuss is all about, is what she says.
Yeah. So that was a funny scene. Of course, it's still a slower build. And here's the thing: I enjoyed the episode. I still loved it, and the new episode is coming out. In a few hours, so might as well go ahead and put this up now. I said now, but it's not really now. It'll pick up soon. Excuse me. You got to pick up the pace soon. You can't just keep building for too many episodes in a row. I think 2 is about the limit where you can have build episodes. There's some stuff needs to pop off this next episode.
I mean, there was a little bit that popped up once they got there and when she saved his life and all that, because then they're like shooting at those other guys, and now you're getting the other people involved, and you've also got what's her name, and I forgot my book, or Kinski, Linsky, her last name is an actress, but the girl that's like in charge of the faction or whatever. Gotcha. 2.5 Men. Not Monica Lewinsky.
Let's just call her Monica Lewinsky.
No,
she just kind of look like her.
No, yeah.
Okay. So Monica Lewinsky
is coming in.
She shoots somebody with her load in this a loaded clip in this.
Easy guy. Easy. Melanie Linsky.
Okay, so what is Monica Lewinsky? What was her performance like for you?
Well, I'm curious as to see like how much they're going to focus on that, and if she's going to like. To be honest, I think she's a really good actor, and I didn't believe why people would be following her as a leader. I don't know. She seemed like I don't know.
She seemed mad frazzled for sure.
Yeah,
and like she was like. She was just like one cup of coffee away from killing everybody,
Yeah. Well, what if I can get a doctor? And it's like, nope. Yeah. She's like, okay, well, I'm going to go kill the doctor.
Yeah. She does seem, but I mean, it also seems like when you look at the reaction on people's faces, that it is kind of to the point where people are starting to question her. So we'll see what happens, because her right-hand man wasn't jiving with everything that she says in order. At some point though, we got to get more zombies.
Well, what they're looking at underneath
Mhm.
I don't know if you're familiar with that or know what that is underneath there. I've looked it up,
Mhm.
but like that thing that's like the rumbling of the pavement.
Mhm.
So that's a bloater,
Oh, okay.
which those are just like
Yeah,
basically.
I had one of those this morning.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. You should have posted it on your story. Look, well, I'm going to come back to the bloater, but side little note right here. One time I took a picture of my shit when I was talking to Asmaniac actually on, not like talking to him, but we were messaging back and forth on Messenger, and I was like, this will make him crack up. And I just sent him pictures, and I was like, Happy New Year. And at the same time, I accidentally posted it as my story. Dude, because you can do on Messenger, there's a little button at the bottom that you can like,
That's so
post the
great.
story.
Did you get banned? Did you get shadow banned from IG?
No, not at all. But I had so many people that I haven't talked to in like 20 years that are like, I knew as a kid growing up, they're like friends with me on Facebook just because they're like old people now. They're like, oh my God, Bobby, what? Question mark. And I'm just like, it was pretty funny. But anyways, the bloaters are not that.
We should have probably thrown this this bad boy up for that. Well, go ahead. Go ahead and talk about the bloaters.
But the bloaters they're basically like, so you've seen already the zombies or the infected humans. And they have the fungus growing off of their faces, and it's sort of extending from their bodies, and they're sort of just turning into like walking, pulsating fungus.
Yep.
And the bloaters are like much more realized. You know what I'm saying? Like their whole body now is like, there's no more clothing on a bloater. They've gotten so big, the clothing's not even on them, and it literally looks like they're about to pop. But they're really hard to kill, and their head is swollen to the point to where there's almost no neck anymore. But they're also like,
they look like Lizzo.
easy guy.
Just kidding, Lizzo. You're great. Congratulations on the Grammy.
Yeah, I do. No, but they're just they're repulsive. They're just walking blobs, and they're really hard to kill. So I'm just curious to see if that pops off, if they're just going to pop off the whole thing, because partly what in the game that really sucked was having to fight off some of all these infected humans and the bloaters at the same time. So I'm hoping that like when the show pops off, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Like I said, I thought it was a fantastic episode, but we are getting to the point where it's like, okay, listen, if they do another building episode, I'm still in. But I can see how some people are gonna be like, all right, this is getting boring.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still enjoying it, the hell out of it. I'm curious to see if they're gonna just wait till season 2 or 3 to even start incorporating any of this. And again, bad form on my end there, but I'm just curious if they're going to put any of the elements of part 2 in there. And I'm not going to go any further on some of the things that happen in part 2, but they are significant. But I'm still around. I love it. I think it's great. Pascal's great. Ellie's great. And the behind the scenes, it was really cool to see her talk. And she's British. I didn't realize that. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I've seen her do some guitar stuff on YouTube.
Oh, is she a guitarist?
Yeah.
Like a good guitarist?
As far as I can tell, I'm not a musician. I mean, you might have a different opinion than I do.
Oh, I'll have to check that out. I'd be interested in seeing that.
So we're gonna move on then, since we we both gave this. We both have positive marks for this episode. We'll probably rate it, officially rate it at the end.
Did you see the Mario Kart?
Yes.
Trailer? Hilarious.
Listen, I thought it was shot well. There were some jokes that I chuckled at, but for the most part, I just didn't find it funny.
What? Oh, I found every.
I think it went on too long. I think that's one of my problems with Saturday Night Live now is they don't know when to take out some jokes. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing should have been 3 minutes long. That was way too long for that.
Gotcha.
But let's move on to another reaction and series of reactions. Kang, the Reaction Conqueror.
Yeah, so
well, we'll put that's the wrong one. We'll go to that one later.
Oh, well, where's I don't have the one that you get, Kang the Reaction Conqueror.
We might have I might have not included an image of Kang. I might have forgot since we had one of him before, and we switched formats.
Yeah, I've normally had some stuff preloaded up here, but we switch a little bit of our StreamYard format. But anyways, go ahead.
You know what Kang looks like, guys. You know what? Just go ahead and Google him
right now. This guy here on the left.
There you go. Yeah, I guess it still works, huh? Yeah, Kang the Reaction Conqueror. So early reviews that I've seen for Ant-Man are out, and they are pretty much positive. There's been a couple that are a little lukewarm on it, saying, hey, listen, it's good. It's not great, but it's good. But for the most part, the reviews of Ant-Man and of Jonathan Majors in particular have been glowing. Bobo, let's go. Actually, I've got some of the reviews put up. I was looking for it. Had an absolute blast watching Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Creative, irresistibly energetic, and filled with some great action sequences. Welcome, Jonathan Majors. Such a badass. The effects are superb. That's Jazz Tankay of the. And let's see here. Let's look at maybe some that are a little bit. CNET's Sean Keane was less enthused. By the way, I'm pulling this off Variety. Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania has way too much going on. It's tough to connect emotionally to any of it. Jonathan Majors Kang is charismatic, intense batting, and visually awesome, but the threat he represents is too abstract. But for the most part, they're positive. We'll go to Collider Editor-in-Chief Stephen Wintrob, and then we'll kind of move on here. He called the film a strong start to Phase 5. Marvel's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is a strong start to Phase 5. I now understand why it's called Quantumania. Jonathan Majors is excellent as Kang, and I cannot wait to see where this all goes. 2 after the credit scenes, and both are very good. So just FYI to that. Okay, so Bobo, what are your thoughts?
I'm curious to see where it's leading. Because to be honest, yes, I loved Ant-Man, and I actually really enjoyed Ant-Man and the Wasp. I enjoyed Ant-Man a little bit more than Ant-Man and the Wasp. Just like I'd say that, like, if Ant-Man is like a 9, then Ant-Man and the Wasp was an 8 for me. A lot of people didn't like Ant-Man and the Wasp as much, but I
thought it was pretty mid.
I really enjoyed it. So I liked the whole Goliath thing with why am I drawing a blank on his name? Lawrence Fishburne being in there as Goliath. I thought that was a fun little thing that they did to throw him in the MCU. But overall, this whole like taking the first 2 movies to sort of a street level vibe and partially going into the Quantumania at the end of the first one and stuff like that. And then, of course, it happens again in part 2, and that's what leads into Endgame. But this one, them spending like the entire movie in the Quantumania and all that. I mean, it's cool, but I don't know. Like, I'm more interested in what this movie is leading up to for like the build up, like to Kang Dynasty and Secret War, and which I do think that this movie is building up to that.
The Quantum Zone is what you're referring to. I think I would be more interested. I'd be less.
Quantum Zone is what I was. I kept calling it Quantumania. The Quantum Zone.
Yeah.
The Quantum Realm.
It's like a combination. It's WrestleMania and the Quantum Zone. Quantumania, brother. It's pythons going wild on you in Quantumania, brother.
Yeah. It's like.
Yeah.
Hear my shirt open.
I think it's gonna be. I would hate it if they set it all in the real world. Go to some more fantastical places, Marvel. Let's go explore the galaxy. Let's go explore the universe. I think that's why part of the reason why Green Lantern failed. Right, you stuck it all in this desert. Nobody cares. So I'm glad to see it turn out that way. But like you, these early reactions, I'm positive. Now, back in the early days of the MCU, when we got early reactions like this, it almost always led to a good movie. As of lately, early reactions do not always equal good movies, right?
True.
A lot of DC movies in particular, we got great early reactions to Man of Steel and to Batman vs. Superman, and then majority of us didn't like those movies. So while I'm excited, enthusiasm has always been pretty high for this movie, but I'm not going to get any more or less excited due to these early reactions.
I'm honestly expecting to like it about as much as I liked Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, and I really like Wakanda Forever, so we'll see what happens.
I did too. It wasn't in my top Marvel films, but I really enjoyed it.
Well, let's stick on the subject. Let's stick on the subject of Jonathan Majors, the man who's taken over Hollywood. Early Creed 3 reactions are out, and they are glowing. Okay. Next week features Matt. Let's go to this first one. Kristen Harloff. We all know Kristen Harloff. Praised the movie as an intense emotional journey, noting that there are a few times he questioned the absence of Sylvester Stallone's Rocky, but insists it never took away from the story. Creed 3 is an intense emotional journey. Great directorial debut by Michael B. Jordan, coupled by amazing performances by both Thompson and the scene stealer Jonathan Majors. Fight scenes are awesome. A few times I was wondering where Rocky was, but it never took away from the story. We got Matt Nagila, who said Michael B. Jordan in his directorial debut does an admirable job directing Creed 3. His performance, though, ranks among his best, and the IMAX shot boxing scenes are distinctly awesome. Jonathan Majors brings raw power and charisma to a personal story. And then the Roots, Shane Ginai, apologies if I didn't get that correct, he called the threequel by far the best in the Creed franchise, calling Jonathan Majors a frightening / formidable foe. Baby, Creed 3, I've been a fan of Creed franchise since day one, and is by far the best one, all caps. Michael B. Jordan did the damn thing, all caps. As director, Jonathan Majors is frightening / formidable foe, but in all caps for some odd reason. This film proved again, all caps, that my loyalty will forever lie with Adonis Creed. Bobby, you hate this movie because there's no Rocky already. So what are your thoughts on
the movie? I just don't like it and so I know why there's no Rocky in this movie. It's because of Erwin Winkler. And Erwin Winkler, back in the day, out of necessity and desperation, Stallone, like in the beginning when he was trying to just make it and had nothing, he sold the rights to Rocky. It's like $100 or something like that to Erwin. Now, Stallone kept on making them, writing them, directed half of them, and is the reason behind their success. No question. Starred in them. And he's been trying for a long time to get the rights to Rocky because he feels like it's his baby. It's what he's most proud of his entire career is the Rocky franchise. There's only one of them he doesn't really like. It's part 5. Mm-hmm. And it just...
he likes 4?
Yeah, but he made a director's cut.
No, I'm thinking part 5. Yeah,
no, right, part 5. He wishes he could like cut out of it. He said that. But anyways, point I'm trying to make is that that's why he's not in part 3. That's the only reason. There's no other reason. It wasn't that they wanted to write him out. He should have been in this movie. So I'm not mad at Stallone. Stallone's even said he's all about working with Michael B. Jordan. It has nothing to do with him. He's come on record and said it has everything to do with Erwin. So, and he's like a producer. So I am definitely going to see the movie. However, for me, all these movies have always been about Rocky and the connection through to Rocky. This being the first one, I'm just reluctant to go see it because this movie is about Rocky's best friend's son.
So you think the original Creed is more about Rocky than Creed?
No, he's just a huge part of Creed's life. And to me, it doesn't make sense that he's just gone. If they address it properly and talk about, hey, yeah, he died, and they do maybe a couple of scenes.
Why he was trying to kill off Rocky, man?
Well, he was sick in Creed 2. He was really ill in Creed 2. That's why, like, for me, what they should have done is they should have killed Rocky as the trainer off in this one, just like Mick died in part 3, which was Rocky's directorial debut of the franchise. This being Michael Jordan's directorial debut, it just would have been great. And
here's why I disagree with that, because I think you run the risk of turning people off when you take too many notes from the original. And if you kill off Rocky just like you killed off Mick, while you as a fan, a hardcore fan, may love that homage, I think the majority of the viewing public would just roll their eyes and be like, okay, we're just going to do the same movie again. Because Creed, in a lot of ways, is Rocky.
It is Rocky. No, it is. It's the same thing with, The Force Awakens being New Hope. It's the same thing. It's just done in the hip-hop version and then on the more, like, I don't know, he had more to struggle against than Rocky did, arguably. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, it is the same formula. So, I mean, I liked the fact that Creed 2 still connected it to something that dealt with Rocky with Drago, and they expanded on Drago's character more to where you realize that Drago had a terrible upbringing, and that's why his son was that way in this whole Russian culture. I just thought that was good. And for me, to this one to just have no connection whatsoever, him to just be gone, I don't know. I just got love for Rocky, man.
All right, man.
But I'm going to see the movie, and look, maybe it will blow me away. I don't think it's going to very talented.
We got to watch an IMAX, apparently. Huh? We got to watch an IMAX, apparently. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because here's one thing, man. Those boxing scenes from Creed were some of the best boxing scenes I've ever seen on film.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Well, what about Rocky Balboa? Those were pretty dope too, because those are the ones where Balboa or Stallone was really getting hit by that boxer. He was like, you can watch behind the scenes. He's like, yeah, he's like, he told me to hit him. He wants to look real, so I was hitting him. Obviously, he wasn't like giving it at all, but still, there's actual contact and heads being made.
I didn't like Rocky Balboa that much. I had struggles for me to walk through the whole movie, but
I love that movie.
But that single take scene in the original Creed, that's amazing. That single take fight scene where he gets his first fight, that's an amazing scene.
I love Creed too. I mean, I love Creed as well. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bashing on it, but oh man, that's my choice.
All right, well, I'm gonna take this next news story about Ted Danson. I'm gonna move it all the way down because do we really care about Ted? Yo, we were supposed to do this. We were supposed to do this last week, and that was one of the few stories we had. I'm moving that down the list, guys. If we get to it, we get to it.
Cool.
But I think next we're going to go to the activist versus your boy, Tony, Bob Iger. Bob Iger's catching some heat from some activists who are trying to block him from
who's trying to block this guy?
So it would be... Let's go ahead and take a look at this guy's name as I have this article pulled up. Nelson Peltz, Train Fund Management founder, and by the way, I'm getting this from Variety. Train Fund Management founder Peltz is a billionaire activist. This dude thinks he's Bruce Wayne. Investor who hosted a fundraiser for President Donald Trump. There's a lot of contradictions going on there. In Florida, in February of 2020, he's known to be unhappy with Disney's response to Florida's "Don't Say Gay." What? This guy is just all over the place. He's unhappy with Disney's response to the Florida's "Don't Say Gay" bill, and at present he's in the midst of a lawsuit against the wedding planner for his daughter Nicola Peltz and her now husband Brooklyn Beckham. That's not important.
He sounds like a Jared Kushner type.
He's all like he's Donald Trump, but he's against "Don't Say Gay," and he's a billionaire, but he's an activist, and I don't tend to believe those two things can coexist. I don't know about you, Bobo. I mean.
The only one that I've seen that actually can do it right is Bill Gates. He's the only one that I've seen that actually did it the right way.
Yeah. Or Bruce Wayne, of course. That's only because he
puts his life on the line every night.
So at first so basically he's kind of going against Bob Iger and trying to make things difficult for Bob Iger. I know
any reasoning behind it?
Well, once again, it's in response to Disney's lack of support to opposition against the "Don't Say Gay" bill.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, but remember they were trying. I don't know if you remember that they were trying to do that, and then Ron DeSantis was just like, "Oh, if that's the case," he's like, "We're taking away your Disney Police Department because the Disney grounds, which is like 45 square miles or something like that." They had their own police and fire department on the grounds. It was separate. It wasn't connected to any other precincts or anything. They had their own precinct. And DeSantis, when they started trying to fight the "Don't Say Gay" thing, DeSantis was like, no, shut them down. He's like, if that's the case, he's like, then now you're under our jurisdiction. And they shut their precinct down, and now it's under Orlando jurisdiction.
And if I'm Bob Iger, first of all, fuck your campaign donations, Ron. Okay. And secondly, we're moving our theme park to Texas. How about you shove that up your ass? And then let's say who blinks.
Well, that Disney owns. So where the Renaissance Festival is in Houston?
Mm-hmm.
So that's owned by Disney, and that's a lot of
gay
land
shit right there.
Huh?
I mean, that's some gay shit right there. No, I'm just kidding. Go.
No, I've been to the Renaissance Festival in Houston, man. That's what. The one in Houston, they have like full-on buildings that are permanent. They have a full-on jousting arena. Like it's not like the one here.
Oh, they have a jousting? Oh, it's not any less gay then.
No, I'm telling you, the Renaissance Festival in Houston was great.
Uh-huh.
But point I'm trying to make is they own a huge, and you can't say that anymore, by the way.
I know.
They own.
I was going to throw out the disclaimer that obviously I'm saying gay as in that 90s version of gay to be sophomoric and to be immature. I don't actually.
Yeah, he's trying to just go ahead and get our channel canceled. Anyways, they just own a bunch of land. Uh-huh. And it's literally acres and acres and acres and acres. And I've always thought there's always been rumors they were going to build a Disney park out there.
Well, they're building one allegedly next where we are at in Frisco. Right now, it's just going to be a kids park.
But that's Universal Studios, not Disney.
Right. And right now, it's just going to be a kids park. But the point is there are options out there, right? So Ron knows this. Ron, we think he's an idiot, but he's a politician. He's not an idiot. He's a schemer. And this is all public posturing. Him and Bob are probably behind the scenes going like, "Yeah, Bob, I got to make a show of this." And Bob's like, "Yeah, whatever. Just make sure you do what we need you to do. That's why we're putting money in your pocket." And Ron's like, "I got you, fam." And this is all just for fugazi for the public, right? So we'll see. We'll see if this activist. It doesn't seem like any of the stuff that he is doing in opposition of Bob is working, because Bob and Mickey and Minnie, they're cleaning house. They laid off a ton of people. Disney had just a ton of layoffs. Let's look at the exact number. I want to say it was something like 7,000, but I want to go ahead and pull up these. Yes, 7,000 jobs, 3% of the workforce. Eyes, $5.5 billion in total cost reductions. Once again, from Variety. Variety getting a lot of pub from me, so if you want to sponsor our podcast, please do. But, excuse me. Bob, first of all, let's look at this as a fan of Bob Iger and what he's doing with Disney. What are your thoughts when you hear that news?
Oh, I think, honestly, I just hope it doesn't get in the way of what Bob Iger's really trying to do. And I don't think that it will at the end of the day. I mean, they've already had enough done to them. Like I said, they had their whole police department taken away. And so, I don't know. I like Bob, and I think Bob can get it back in shape. I think that Disney's in the shape that it's in right now just because of Chapek. Not in every aspect, obviously. Chapek doesn't control everything, but
all right.
I don't know. Disney just seemed to be on better terms when Iger was in there. And
there's a combination of things, right? We had COVID, which affected their theme parks, and there's a lot of things that factor into that. Chapek didn't make the best decisions, but I hesitate to say that they need to cut $5.5 billion because of the 7 months or whatever that he was in charge. I will say that, yeah, listen, this sucks because I think a lot of times the knee-jerk reaction for people like us is just look at movie news and, hey, Bob's coming in, he's cleaning house, and we're going to get a better phase 5 because of it. But I've been a part of layoffs. I've been a guy that's been a high performer in a company and gotten laid off for stuff that's not my fault, right? It's not our fault that the company doesn't know what they're doing and they add the jobs they need to add, and my job happened to be one of them. I did the job I was supposed to do, and I did an awesome job at it. And then I get laid off at the end of the day. So I feel for those people that room
isn't. They just decide that your specific job isn't needed anymore. Not saying that isn't needed in the company. They just don't need as many people doing what you're doing.
Yeah, so for my last position, I won't name the company, but I was a financial advisor. And this company started out as an insurance company, and they added a bank, and then they added a financial advice and life insurance company. And I was part of the financial advice company. And we were actually making the money. The problem was the bank was a compliance nightmare. They got a bunch of violations because of the bank, and they ended up having to shut the bank down, right? Now, financial advice is also heavily regulated. And at the same time, there was a lot of competition coming in. Schwab, Vanguard, all these big financial firms that existed for quite a while, they were really starting a price war in the market. They were making stuff extremely cheap. So, the cost of competition was really getting to them as well. And so they decided, listen, why deal with all the compliance nightmares? Why deal with having to go to war, a price war with these big boys? Let's just lay everybody off, right? And this company had never laid anyone off. So stuff like that happens, man. And it's no fun when you're one of the employees is just coming to work and doing your job every day and putting your head down and hitting the grindstone, hoping to collect enough money to retire, to be able to fund retirement and pay your bills. And then you get laid off. And especially if you're older, you don't know what's going to happen in the future.
No,
so
it is.
Heart goes out to those people.
Yeah, no, mine does too. But it's kind of like the nature of war, though. It's like at the end of the day, though, if they just were to keep those things the way that they were, at some point, everybody in the company is going to lose their job if they don't fix it.
But like if, let's say, Bob Chapek walked with a golden parachute, that's the thing that sucks. Is these executives are the ones that make those decisions. They get to walk with money. Then they get to jump right into a nice board of directors job somewhere else.
Right.
I work with directors. Right. Director is a big regional directors. These people with these big titles. And I think it's always funny. I do kind of laugh at this, in that they play politics and they schmooze. And at the end of the day, if a company's doing well enough, they see themselves as executives, but you're not an executive. And when it comes time to cut jobs, your ass is going to be in the unemployment line right behind me. And you're going to get a shitty severance just like I got a shitty severance. So,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
It just goes to show you, man. Like, when your parents want you to go to school, kids, and go to a nice school and become an executive, this is why. Because it's the only way you ever have any security. Because even if you screw up as an executive, as long as you don't commit crimes, and even then you're going to go to white collar jail, you're going to get some money in your pocket no matter what happens. You could drive a company to the ground, you're still going to get a couple million on the way out. So,
Bob Chapek, if Disney were to try to be like, Bob, you messed up so much. We're not going to give you your actual walk money. We're going to try to implement that to the, severance to the employees or whatever. But all he would do is turn around and sue and would win because it's contractual and the government it follows contracts. The government doesn't dispute that. If you sign it, that's what it is.
Yep. And they're definitely not going to set that precedent either because
no.
How many of their donors are those same people? They're not going to piss those people off, right?
Right. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to a story that is more near and dear to our heart. I am sequelicus. That's the best I can come up with. Yo, Spartacus may be coming back, son, on Stars. Yo, I had to put when I pulled a picture. I had to pull for the late great Andy Whitfield, who no shot against the other guy whose name I can't remember plays Spartacus, but Andy Whitfield's performance as Spartacus was just tremendous, to borrow one of Donald Trump's words. And we may be getting some spinoffs. Stars actually released a press statement, so this comes straight from the horse's mouth, if you will, that they are working on spinoffs for Spartacus. Now, for those of you who don't know, okay, Spartacus is based off a real-life character, but the history of Spartacus itself in real life is very unknown. We know he led a servant rebellion. We know he could have escaped at one point, but he ended up coming back to Rome just to cause more havoc. And then we don't know what happened to him. Did he live? He died? We have no idea. We assume he died, but no clue. So they have a lot of leeway to take liberties with the story of Spartacus. So it'll be interesting to see what they do here. Bubba, what are your thoughts? Did you watch Spartacus?
No. I saw a couple episodes here and there. I saw that, had lots of nudity, lots of violence, shot well, things like that. But I have to be honest. There are certain things and certain types of content, depending on what it is about. Like, I'm not very big on medieval stuff. I'm not really big on the old school, Roman type stuff. Every now and then I like my fill of it. And I also especially like if it's done when 300 was done, it's like, cool, this is nice and flashy. And that was also more about the comic and the Frank Miller vibe. And again, when Lord of the Rings come out, I dug that. Game of Thrones was I got into that for a little while. But when it comes to a lot of these things set in this time, I'm just not interested in it enough. I know that he did a good job and I know that he passed away. I don't think there was anything bad about the show. It's just one of those things that I didn't choose to watch.
Man, you are picky.
I am picky.
You can't watch historical stuff. You can't watch cartoons. You can't watch.
I deserve to like what I like.
You can't watch something just because Rocky's not in it. Man.
Hey, you hadn't watched Peacemaker yet, and I watched Death Note.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Honestly, I really didn't think you were going to watch Death Note. Peacemaker, I really do though.
I told you I was putting it on right then and there, and sent you a picture.
I know, but I had to believe.
Thought I was lying about all that. Just I'm gonna send him a picture and that's it. Turn it off.
I thought you would watch a little bit one episode and get I had to go to work and then I just never picked it back up. So, yeah, man. Listen, I'm excited. I think that show did have a lot of fans, right? So, I think there are a lot of people that are gonna be excited. However, just because it's coming back doesn't mean it's going to be done as well. So we'll see what happens. But I do think that for the people that are fans of the show, there's hope that you're going to get more Spartacus. And
same guy that was playing it that took over his, the replacement guy.
Well, yeah, we haven't had any more information about it. Is Spartacus going to be in it? Is it going to be about the Serpentine Rebellion after Spartacus? What's going to be the plot?
Yeah, because the replacement guy wasn't Spartacus, right?
Right. But I'll tell you what, that cast was very active after that show, especially in the Greg Berlanti DC Arrowverse. If you look at the IMDb of that show, you'll recognize a lot of those actors from those shows in particular, and several other shows as well. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, let's move on to the next story. Shadow of the Bat. So there's a new poster out for Flash, and that in the background looks like a bat symbol or a bat plane or just a bat ring that's in the forefront of the camera, or maybe it's just a really shitty Batman costume. But all I know is that marketing is working overtime and they're saying, listen, our lead actor kidnapped a child. What can we do to make people stop talking about? I know, let's tease the Batman in a poster and release it. Did it work, Bobo?
Oh yeah. Well, first off, I I have definitely been of okay, two sides of the coin. Yes, it was going to be a struggle to watch this movie knowing that Ezra was like not trying to get help and was just on the run. Now that he's like quote unquote said, okay, I messed up, I've got a problem, and he's trying to get, I can kind of watch the movie again. But at the same time, too, I love Andrew Machete. I love like the whole idea of Michael Keaton coming back in there. The whole point of it, I'm really excited about this movie, and the fact that James Gunn says that it's the best DC movie ever made. I mean, that's pretty cool. That makes me excited. So, yeah, I really want to see this, and the fact that I knew that, you know, both Keaton and Batfleck are both going to be in there, and this is going to be the turning point for the new DC. Yeah, I'm freaking stoked.
So what have we learned today, kids? We've learned that it's illegal to kidnap, and it's illegal to have sex with a minor, unless you have a Flash movie coming out. Then you can just issue an apology, and you're good. You're gold.
What I'm saying is that the one person.
I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm just saying it's funny that, you know, that seems to be the general consensus. Like, nobody talks about it anymore. It's like, yo, this guy's a weirdo. This guy's clearly off his rocker.
But what I'm saying is that it's disrespectful to the company and the money they put into it to let one person. Yes, he's the star, but to let one person just desecrate that, they just can't do that. That would be a business decision that would really be detrimental to Warner Brothers.
I mean, they put Batgirl in the can,
but they didn't spend the money that they did on this. They spent on this one's like upwards of $200 million. Batgirl didn't have that budget. Batgirl was intended to be an HBO Max movie.
You could delay. There's a lot of things you could do. I mean, at the end of the day, I kind of genuinely agree with you because it's just a bad financial decision. Like, their hands are tied financially. They can't do anything but release a movie.
And again, there's a.
That being said, like, there are things you could do to mitigate that. You could be like, "Yo, we're releasing this movie, but Ezra Miller's fired. He's not going to be in the movies anymore."
Well, what if he's not?
No, what if he's? What if they say that? Like, listen, like, if you make that statement, you're like, listen, there are a lot of people who are relying on this movie outside of Ezra Miller. We're not going to let one person.
But doesn't that give away the story of the movie?
No.
Oh, well, you mean that this is his last one? Oh, then
yeah, you can recast it. Hey, listen. If they did it in Entourage with Aquaman, you can do it in real life, right? I mean, we see it.
But he's in every aspect of this film. They can't reshoot it with another actor.
No, I'm not saying reshoot it. Just fire him after this movie. Say, hey, after this movie, this is his movie as Flash. We shot it. But
that's what I'm saying. Maybe they still are going to do that. We don't know yet.
But what I'm saying, announce it by now. I mean, like.
But if they announce it, then we know that he is like something is going to happen in this movie to make him disappear, and that's going to slightly give away some of the story. I think that they're doing it on purpose.
You could just say, like, listen, we're going to recast the role later. It doesn't mean that everybody's going to have to assume he's going to die.
No, if I was a producer and exec, I would be, especially since he's like under quote unquote control right now, and he's not out and about gallivanting, kidnapping still. I think that it's like, let's just let it simmer and just get him out of the picture rather than announcing no more Ezra, because I think it does tarnish the idea of what's going to happen in this movie. Now people with no more Ezra, well, why should I even go see this movie?
I mean, I would be more concerned about people saying Ezra is a kidnapper, I'm not going to see this movie, then there might not be more Ezra, I'm not going to see this movie. I would think that would, like, the momentum would shift the other way, actually. People might be more inclined to be like, all right, listen, I think cancel culture is a little bit overboard, but this is one I can't really argue against, right? When you do some serious crap like that, I think there'd be more people would be more like, all right, well, I wasn't going to see it because Ezra is clearly
but what about all the people that have all these things on stake of like, yes, I make a certain amount of money after the fact of what it does in the box office. I mean, it's just ruining a lot of things for a lot of people involved.
But he already did that. Like, that's the thing, and we'll see. We'll find out, because maybe I'm overestimating how much.
If it's as good as they say it is, there's no way it doesn't do awesome. If it's bad, then it won't do good. But if it's as good as they say it is, then there's no way it won't do awesome.
We've seen good movies underperform at the box office, right? So, and this one, listen, we'll see. Maybe this
mark my words. If it's good, it's going to do great.
So maybe it won't have teeth. We'll find out. But, like, in my opinion, you should just announce, hey, like, listen, Ezra's done after this. Like, clearly we can't trust the dude. He's fired. And then whatever. And then you don't have to worry about keeping him under control or any of that shit. Just say, yeah, he's fired.
But what would they gain from that?
They would gain a lot of goodwill. And and they would get a lot of good PR.
Yeah, I just don't know if a lot of people are so upset about it. And also remember, there's a lot of people that aren't the nerds like you and me that don't have no idea that this stuff is going on with the Flash. They just know the guy that's in the Flash movie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. That's not like a comic book thing where you have to be a comic book fan to know that. That was big news, you know. And as the movie comes out, do you not think the news is going to bring that back up?
But
Yeah.
I watch the regular news and I look at entertainment news. Not once has Ezra Miller been on the regular news. Only on entertainment news.
Controversy sells, and that's going to be all over the Twitter. Like you're going to find pundits talking about as soon as the movie gets near release. There's a lot of people that are going to get a lot of clicks off Ezra Miller and his downfall, and so you're going to hear that a lot. You're going to see a lot of people talking about it. It's going to be a big talking point. So I think you can get ahead of that by getting rid of him. Plus, I think he sucks as Flash. So you know.
I think that's where all this is coming from.
No, it's 100% coming from the fact that you need to not be stupid and not, and get ahead of the guy that kidnapped somebody who's a minor.
Again, they've got him though. It'd be one thing if he was on the run. They've got him, and if they have intentions of writing him out of the movie, I think if they're like, "Hey, the movie's not out, guys, but just let you know, he's not Flash anymore," and they've already said that this movie's resetting the universe, I think it slightly gives away the fact that they are going to do something in this movie to get rid of this Flash.
And I mean, his rap sheet might already give that away. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, here's the thing: this guy's clearly nuts. He's got some mental issues. He's not going to control himself for too long. You can give him. I'm surprised he actually honestly hasn't cracked yet. But you're not going to keep him in control forever.
Or if it's sizzling kind of on its own because they've got him and he's not on the run anymore, why bring it back up again? If it's sort of already sizzling.
Well, yeah, I mean, now you don't do it, but I think they should have done that from the jump.
Gotcha.
So let's kind of move on to the next one, Ghost of Christmas Past. John Leguizamo was talking about one of our favorite movies that we both did a review on, Violent Night, saying they asked him about a sequel, which, spoiler warning, he was sucked through a chimney and killed. So I would have thought that would have been a bad question. But in response to that question, John Leguizamo's quote was, "I can't reveal anything, but you might see me."
Yeah, well,
Is he the Ghost of Christmas Past?
That would be awesome if he was. That would be amazing. Yeah. That'd be super clever. Like, to me, one of the biggest missed opportunities that they never did is have Bill Murray as a dead ghost in Ghostbusters 3. And, before Harold Ramis died.
Yeah, I mean, that part of that though, Bill Murray's a hard guy to wrangle sometimes. He doesn't pick up his phone.
No, but that was his idea. Like from the get-go, he was like,
he's
like, what I would want to do is like, I want to die in the beginning and I want to be a ghost for the rest of the movie. But they could never come to some sort of agreement on a script. And so
the movies have all kind of sucked, unfortunately, after the first
I liked
two.
Afterlife, but the one with the girls and Chris Hemsworth, sorry, man, that one's not funny.
And that's a good cast, yo.
That's a great cast. Every single person in that, it should be great, but the movie was just not well done.
And they do a good job in that movie. It's just the script sucked. It was rushed. It was clearly some exec was like, "Yo, there's a V2 movement happening. Find me the most talented females you can. Let's quickly greenlight a project. Oh, Ghostbusters 2, let's push it through." Right? There was no thought in that script.
No, and you can watch the way it's filmed, dude. Like it's too like, you guys done? Y'all ready? You finished building the set? You just built it? Okay, cool. They're done. All right, the paint's dry. Let's go. Shoot.
Yeah.
There was no. It just felt so toyish, if that makes any sense. Kind of like Batman and Robin. The sets on that feel just like toyish. So I agree.
Slumberland, although Slumberland was doing it on purpose, right?
Yeah, because it's supposed to be in a toy dream type state.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. Oh.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens, man. I'm looking forward to some more Violent Night. There's gonna be another one. It was a smash hit, and I ain't mad at you if you release another one.
I loved it.
Speaking of another one, shout out to DJ Khaled, the talented Mr.
Another
Moriarty.
one.
Yeah, we got the old movie that I had almost forgotten about, but was a banger nonetheless. The talented
Excellent
Mr.
movie.
Ripley.
Excellent movie.
There are talks of a TV series based on talented Mr. Ripley coming out, featuring our homeboy Moriarty from Sherlock Holmes, otherwise known as Andrew Scott. I loved the Sherlock BBC series.
Never watched it.
Benedict Cumberbatch. Well, you might not like it. Who knows? Who knows what you like and don't like? I would think you would like this one. It's set in modern day. It doesn't have subtitles. It's not a cartoon. It's not it is foreign. Okay, so we might be out there.
No, but they speak English in it, so that's fine.
Oh, so you only hate the non-English
I
speaking
just don't
foreigners.
like reading the screen the whole time when I'm watching a movie. That's all. It's a
Uh,
visual medium, and I don't want to have to read
Yo.
the whole time.
It's junk food, but it's good junk food. It's one of those shows where you're like, okay, there's a lot of this that I should be bragging on, but goddamn, I'm just enjoying every episode of this show. And it's only like three episodes a season. Now they're like hour and a half long episodes, but there's only 3 per season. So it was a good show. But he was fantastic as Moriarty, and he's a good actor. He's another British actor. We're in the middle of another British invasion, aren't we?
Well, we kind of always are, but The Talented Mr. Ripley, I think, is a good show or a good movie to do as a show because just it's such a like sort of psychological, character driven style plot, and you want to get into the minds of those people more. The when a movie is like that, going over 2.5 hours, you just start kind of getting bored in the same place with any movie over 2.5 hours. But to be able to expand on it episode by episode, I think that's a good idea.
I agree. Let's move on here because we got a lot to talk about today. Fantastic director. So this might be old news, but we did not come up with this, that there is a new director for the Fantastic Four movie, Matt Shakman, to direct Fantastic Four. Shakman, sorry. He was also going to direct Star Trek 4, but that's apparently been delayed. Bob, what are your thoughts on this director? I know nothing about him.
No, so yeah, I knew all about this, and this is the same guy who did WandaVision. All the episodes of WandaVision, and I knew all about this because John Watts. This is slightly old news, but John Watts was supposed to do it. He got announced a long time ago to do Fantastic Four, and then he did all 3 of the last Spider-Man movies. And once that was announced for a while, then out of nowhere, even after the success of Spider-Man, it came out that he wasn't going to do it. He needed to take a break. He's like, you know what? I'm just burnt out. I'm going to take a break. We're going to give it to somebody else. What I think happened what I was saying that happened, and I was like, it's one of 2 things. Either Kevin Feige really wants somebody else to direct Fantastic Four that he just really wants to give it to, or John Watts actually has something else that he wants to do. And it comes out a little later, he's doing a Star Wars project. So he just he wanted to get out of the MCU and do something else instead of doing a Fantastic
Yeah, so he chooses the lesser of the franchises.
Maybe he has a vision that he can bring it back to something. But, I mean, I'll tell you what Shankman did with WandaVision was great.
Yeah, and you know what? Thinking about, we may have talked about this. I think I do remember us talking about this when we first got together, but that's okay because I wanted to go into the next story anyway. Because the next story is the one that I think you and I are really being interested. It ties right into this. Mila Kunis was spotted having conversations with good old Matty Boy, and people are speculating. The Daily Mail is the one that reported this. People are speculating that is for the part of Susan Storm.
Okay.
So Mila Kunis, one of my all-time crushes. Also, Susan Storm was a crush back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
So good fit for me. She's also a very talented actress, though.
She is and that's the thing. I'm not saying that Jessica Alba isn't a talented actor.
Don't you dare talk bad about Jessica Alba.
Oh,
Bobby, you and I will break up over that one.
She's a goddess. But what I'm saying is, it's like, is that really the Sue Storm we had in mind?
Yeah.
But I feel like Sue Storm is more of like I just didn't see the mother and the leader in Jessica Alba in that role. And when I think Sue Storm, I think badass, obviously. I think, got crush on her and all that. But I think mother and leader. Like, she's arguably a little bit more of a leader to the Fantastic Four than Reed is. Reed thinks he's the leader a lot of the times, but Sue, I mean, she's the wife.
Yeah, I mean, I like what they did with Reed later on in the 90s and the aughts, especially the aughts, and going to current Reed, where it's like, yeah, he's a genius, but because of that, there's some downsides to him being a genius. His mind is always distracted. He's always somewhere else. He's not the most present husband, and Sue's got to put up with that. She's the one that's got to raise a family. And, she's one of the most powerful characters in the entire MCU, right?
Yes.
I think there's what's a Wolverine story where he gets taken over by Hydra and brainwashed, and he's forced to go and try to kill all these superheroes. And, he goes and raids the Baxter building, and he talks about the one person he fears is Sue Storm because she's just super powerful. She can end him, right? So, man, it would be awesome to see Mila Kunis as Sue Storm. There's definitely going to be those people, the nerdrotics out there, are probably going to have issue with it because she's not your classic blonde bombshell, even though she's Russian. So it's not like she's ethnic, right? She's not
Yeah,
Indian or
I mean,
Hispanic.
she could pull off the blonde
Yeah.
perfectly fine. And look, let's face it, we all like Zendaya as MJ.
Yeah, Sue Storm doesn't have to be blonde just because she's in
Yeah.
the comics. You know, like we can change the hair color. All right, like I don't understand why people. What does her being blonde have to do with her being
With Sue Storm? That's
Yeah.
the thing. It's just the way she was drawn. It has the. It's like, you know, when people were mad about, "Well, you mean they're going to make a black Superman?" It's like, look, Superman's from another planet. First off, so he
Yeah.
can kind of be. Yes, he was drawn white back in the day, but that was also in a crazy time. We're advanced now. Nothing making the Superman a different color does nothing bad to the character.
No,
You know?
make him Jewish. The writers were Jewish.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I care. I don't care about that stuff. Just make it an awesome superhero movie. Make sure he can fly and shoot lasers out of his eyes. I could care less what color he is, what religion he is. Right now,
Yes.
if you make him a different color, a different religion, and give me a stupid story, then I'm gonna bitch about the story. But the last thing I'm gonna care about is color. Some people, once again, just want clicks. Yeah, and then there are these people that get triggered by it. But come on, man, are you guys really mad about Superman being a different color or a different race? Are you mad about some other stuff? Let's be real.
And no, but I think Mila is great. It's been a while since I've seen her in anything. You know, she tried to dip her toe in some comedy movies here and there, you know, like the Bad Moms and stuff like that. And, you know, when she was doing Black Swan and things like that, it was like, whoa, this Mila, you know, the girl from 70s Show, Jackie from 70s Show, is actually doing some like triple A-list stuff here. And then I kind of felt like she sort of disappeared a little. Like, obviously she hasn't gone anywhere, she's all over the place, but as far as like that career of those acting roles, so I'd like to see her in something big like this.
Yeah, once again, Hollywood is not good to women when they age, man. It's not like she's old. She still looks fantastic, right? But it's just Hollywood tends to just always go for those younger women, and that is, of course, you know,
it's unfortunate.
Yeah, a trope about Hollywood, right? And
It
people
is.
in Hollywood, how they kind of are predators for those younger girls. So, but hey, would it be awesome if she played Sue Storm like she was Meg?
That would be so funny, right?
Yeah.
Or Jackie from that 70s Show, either one.
Yeah, that would be great
Looking
too.
at Reed, just like, are you kidding me, Reed?
Yeah. Well, let's move on to more superhero stuff because we may have another return, maybe, possibly. Call me maybe. Patrick Stewart. Well, let's go ahead and go into the banner here. Make it so, number one. Patrick Stewart, in talking to Comic Book Com, has told them that he has been told to stand by for Deadpool 3. First of all, I should have done my Patrick Stewart impersonation. Make it so, number one.
Yeah. Now, first off, I'm super excited about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like Deadpool, Wolverine, and if you have Patrick Stewart in there, I'm curious to see if
Did you like 2?
I did like 2. I thought
it
it was fine. I mean, I had fun with it. I think that it critically got bashed on too much. The people were like, "What? Oh, it was just some more." It's like, yeah, but wasn't it Deadpool though? It was a Deadpool movie.
You know, for those of you that are fans of TikTok and fans of Gordon Ramsay and the Gordon Ramsay duets, where he does with people who are, you know, they'll do these viral cooking videos, and sometimes they send him weird ones on purpose, you know, and he has fun with it. But his common phrase that he repeats over and over again is, "You've lost the plot, kid." And I feel like that's what they did with Deadpool 2, because Deadpool 2 trying to become this father figure and in mourning and trying to be more serious.
I was wrapped up in the movie the whole time. I was very entertained and interested. I just didn't find myself getting bored or like going, "Oh, come on." I enjoyed it, and I've watched it a couple times.
I thought he was good as Juggernaut. I thought the kid from New Zealand, who I thought was going to be a star and has done nothing since then.
Really, he's done a couple foreign things, like I say foreign, but like New Zealand type things.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he's done nothing in America.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be great. I mean, Dave McBride gets a career. Listen, Dave McBride's great, right? Gemstone's great. But Dave McBride, until recently, has always played Dave McBride. I think he's been a little bit different recently. He's shown a little bit more range. Also, he did Up in the Air, which is one of the worst movies I ever saw in the theater. But, like, you know, Danny McBride does Pineapple Express, and his career takes off. And I thought that was going to be the same thing for this kid. I was like, even if all this kid can do is this character right here, he should have a role in future movies, and he's got nothing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yo, man, shout outs to that kid, whatever his name is. I don't know what your name is, so I'm just as bad as the industry. But
no, I'm looking forward to Deadpool 3, but I'm just curious to see how they're going to intertwine Patrick Stewart in there, and if it's going to be connected to Logan somehow.
All right, let's go ahead and fire off our last couple of stories here.
Man, you got a lot
Gunfire,
today, dude.
huh?
You got a lot today.
Yeah, well, some of these we've already done. Like the Creed one that's down there in the banners, I've already done. I just forgot to remove it. But Gunfire. So James Gunn is, of course, had some hot sports opinions about the previous DC regime, and he apparently rankled some feathers. Some people were not happy about his comments, and there's definitely been some backlash. Do you think, Bobo, that this is going to be something that's going to affect him, or is this much to do about nothing?
Did he name specifics? Like, was he dogging on Snyder, or was he dogging on?
Well, we talked about these comments last week, where he just talked about the execs.
Yeah, okay, that's what I'm asking.
Apparently, it did not go over well. And
are these execs still there? Like, a part of the company? Are they gone?
Did I say Zack Snyder? I meant sorry, I meant the new head of DC, James Gunn.
Yeah, no, but I said, was he referring to people like Zack Snyder? So, and then you said
no, you're just talking about prior execs. So let me go ahead and pull up the story.
And I said, are those execs still there?
Oh, the execs. I thought you said, is Zack still there? That's why I got confused. I was like, I don't know if he's still there. I think Zack Snyder's not there anymore. Okay, I got you now. Yes, so let's go ahead and read the story. TH reports that Gunn and Safran's comments were not received well by some of the studio's executives. According to THR, there's been quite a few ruffled feathers since certain members of the previous DC regime remain at WBD. The new DC Studios co-CEOs were quite frank with their words, which includes Safran affirming the Batgirl movie was not releasable, and that Gunn saying the old DC regime, was giving away IP like they were party favors at any creator who smiled at them. And this is from Screen Rant. And the original article was from THR, the Hollywood Reporter. So, yeah. You think there's going to be any blowback on James Gunn because of
that? No. I think he's saying what everybody thinks. And maybe he shouldn't have been so... I thought he was talking about execs that weren't there anymore. So, yeah, maybe he shouldn't have been so brazen about it in public without just having a meeting with them. But... I do think that he is saying what everybody's thinking, and I think that they hired him for this reason. Maybe he just went about it the wrong way.
Don't underestimate these executives and how petty they are. I watched a YouTube video grading past Super Bowl halftime performances, and most of us remember the Janet Jackson Nipplegate, right?
Yeah.
So after that, an executive from CBS was so furious with Janet Jackson, not with Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake got a pass, that he almost effectively killed her entire career. Like, she couldn't release music for the longest time.
No, yeah, I remember.
For the longest time. So, pissing off execs, even though we all hate them, especially the crappy execs at Warner Brothers, they have a lot of power. They have a lot of connections. That's the whole reason they even got that job in the first place. And so sometimes rankling those feathers is not in your best interest. It's best to just do what you said. Just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to affect him moving forward. I mean, I think he's got the job, and I don't think they would have made this huge announcement and just to pull another DC and be like, oh, sorry, we're not doing the James Gunn stuff. Then people tend to talk about making the fans mad.
Right. Well, let's talk about more James Gunn confusion. Is it or isn't it? So, your boys, Tony, reported last week, breaking news, Constantine 2, starring Keanu Reeves, is going to come out. Wasn't so breaking. Apparently, that story broke about a year ago. Then I'm on Twitter, and I see a reputable source reporting, hey, tap the brakes on that Constantine 2 sequel. It may not be happening. James Gunn is apparently not going to do it. And I call up Bobo, and we were going to do the stream, and I told him, hey, man, we might have to issue our first correction because not only we come out with the story late, but now it's not going to be done. Now I'm hearing conflicting reports that are saying, hey, listen, just because James Gunn hasn't canceled it doesn't mean that it's been trash binned. Bobo, what are your thoughts on Constantine 2? Will it or won't it?
I mean, I don't know at this point. I think I'd say probably not for a while, unless they see how well James Gunn is doing with some of these other major characters that they're doing. I just don't see. I wanted it to happen, and we all are fans of Constantine, but I don't see it being just greenlit right now. I mean, Keanu is big because of John Wick and all that, but I don't see people running out just like people saying we need a Constantine. The fans are, but like the true people that love that movie but not like people are wanting more of this Batman correction stuff and the Superman correction and all that.
Au contraire, mon frere. I'm way more interested in Constantine 2 than I am this Flash movie because DC
But you're
is
the,
such a
but that's what
shit
I'm
show.
saying. I'm talking about you and me are the main people. I'm talking about the mass public want.
No, you're right. I can definitely see that. Yeah, they definitely want DC back. But then there's a part of me that says the mass public at this point does not care about DC's IPs because they've done such a bad job with it, right? Because once again, when we talk about mass public as comic book fans, a lot of times we are subconsciously just thinking of the comic book fans in the echo chamber that we know. But the massive movie audience is much bigger than comic book fans. The majority of people out there that watch these movies couldn't tell you the difference between a DC movie and a Marvel movie. To them, it's all just comic book movies, right? It's all the same universe. They barely don't, they basically don't even get it. And so, are those people going to be excited by another DC or Batman movie if they've been disappointed several times in a row? That's another story we have to find out the answer to. I mean, honestly, probably yeah, because those are characters that have been around for quite a while. They have a lot of, appeal and equity. Yeah, but
I mean, and Batman and Spider-Man are like arguably the two most popular comic book characters in the world. So,
yeah,
but yeah, I want it to happen. I just don't see it happening right away.
Yeah, but I mean, one of the most popular characters in the world is Mario. He's got a Q rating higher than Disney Mouse or Mickey Mouse. Disney Mouse.
Yeah, and they keep making Mario stuff, but
they do. But I don't know how well they do. You know what I'm saying?
They do well. We'll see. For the Switch.
Yeah, we'll see. But we'll see.
Very well.
We'll wrap it up with this last story. We'll just talk about this briefly because I had it in here, so why not? Ted Danson may be coming back to your TV. Ted Danson is he's finding himself in the middle of a bidding war in a good way for an IP attached to him. It's called The Mole Agent. It's based on a story about a guy who is a mole agent. And I was really excited till I found out that he's a mole agent inside a retirement community. And then I was like a little bit less enthused. However, if it's written well, this could actually be hilarious. And apparently it's got the attention of quite a few TV execs who are fighting over the services of it. So, Bobo, what's your excitement level on a scale of 1 to 10 about Ted Danson coming back to your small screen?
I like Ted Danson. I liked him. I've always loved him. He's the king of TV. Because he's just been in a slew of successful TV shows.
Sure.
Cheers, Becker, The Good Place. I mean, he's in Curb Enthusiasm as himself, but a fake Ted Danson. It's hilarious. Mr. Mayor was really good. It just didn't get the ratings, but it was hilarious. I thought the humor was really good in it.
Yeah, I don't know if I would rank Becker as one of the all-time great shows. I mean, it had its moments.
I'm saying it was successful is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's been in a lot of successful shows.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, I'm always about Ted Danson.
Yeah, listen, and on the heels of the R.I.P. Christian Alley, I'm here for Ted Danson having one more comeback in him. Hopefully you've been saving your money, Ted, and you don't need it. But you know what? I'm still pulling for it anyway. We'll see. I'll give it a shot. Retirement community doesn't really do anything to my TV pants, but Ted Danson, I'll give it a shot just for you. Hopefully it lands on a good network though, because we know sometimes that makes all the difference.
Yeah, and again, I think Ted's funny, and I think if they're going with that angle, it'll be a funny catch with the retirement home thing.
Yep. So Ted's on his way back. As for us, we're on our way out, guys. On hour 18, we've been doing some marathon streams lately. Of course, this is a little bit because we've missed a couple of streams. We'll try to get back on a somewhat decent schedule for you guys. But if you're wondering, hey, how do I know when you guys are going to be on or not? Well, there's a couple of easy ways to do that. First of all, you can follow us at the follows down below at Shogun of Cinema on Twitter and on Insta. You can go to our patreon.com/BrassReel. You can hit us up on facebook.com/BrassReel. You can find us on Discord. You can find us on TikTok. Of course, the easiest way to do it is just to hit that notification bell after you hit that subscribe button, after you hit that like button, after you leave a comment, or you can switch up the order if you really want to. Hey, we ain't sticklers about those damn things here. Just make sure you do all that and help us build this community so we can give you more great content. As far as what you need to get, just remember, just do all those things for us. And also remember, if life gives you lemons, what should they do, Bobo?
Make some hot, fresh popcorns.
We out.
Oh, yeah. Check out my Infinity Pool review.
Oh, yeah.